Hi, Birdie level participants. Tammy Palmer, Program Director at the University of the Golden Isles, and this is Coach Mason Scott. And we're going to be talking about core lesson number 19 today, and that's setting different types of goals on page number 52 of your yardage book. We've talked a lot about, setting goals that are specific and measurable and attainable, timely. But there are 3 types of goals in the yardage book. And can you explain to our participants what that is and maybe a little bit about how you might achieve one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one, well, we've got 3. One of the goals is outcome goal. So this is that ultimate goal, the end product of what you want to achieve. So like your dream, I want to play in college or I want to play professionally. That outcome, that giant goal sort of that you're trying to reach. Next, you have process goals. So these are kind of focusing on the skills, techniques. These are like the decisions that you make. I like to think, tying back to the player lessons of using good judgment. So these are making those decisions, those smart decisions when you're on the course to try to help you play better and reach that ultimate outcome goal. The next one is performance goals, and performance goals are identifying your personal bests and standards of improvement based on practice. So you're measuring and keeping track of how well you're putting, how well you're hitting your irons, all these different things. You have this data that you can look back to and see your overall performance and how you're doing. We can go in a little bit more specific with the different types of goals. I'll give you some examples. So say we're talking about performance goals. I just talked about that. These are the things that we're measuring that I can measure when I'm out practicing and playing around. So how many fairways did I hit? Am I hitting the fairway consistently? I'm keeping track of how many strokes that I'm occurring and where that's happening, if I'm hitting balls out of bounds and to what side, and if I'm doing certain things in my swing as well. If there's certain things I'm working on in my swing with certain positions, if it's my setup, if it's actually in the swing, going through these and saying, am I doing this? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing to reach my goal? Next, I can talk about process goals. And process goals are, like I said, the decisions that we're making using good judgment when we're out on the golf course to put ourselves in the best position to be successful. So that includes the club choice that we're making. Off the tee, could be from the fairway, around the greens, making the right decision with club choice. And it could be even to where we're positioning our ball. This may be, a little bit for more advanced players, but when we get to that level, we can start to land our ball that's going to put us in the best position to reach the green, and so on and so forth. So doing these things, making these decisions, and helping us reach ultimately that outcome goal, that big goal that we've set for ourselves.
So as you were explaining that so well, I was thinking about how in the past lessons we've talked a lot about, like, if you're setting that goal of shooting par, and we know we can't get there overnight, right? Like, it might take us a really long time. So we want to set some of these goals, right? So can you explain, like, if I say, okay, I want to be shooting par in the next year or 2 years, and it just depends on your how much you're practicing is your progression. But can you explain, like, if one of our Birdie level participants says, okay, in 2 years I want to be able to shoot par from maybe the regular tees, the ladies tees, and not the junior tees, or maybe it's the white tees, which are the men's tees, instead of the junior tees. Like, can you explain, like, if their goal is to shoot par in a couple of years, like, how would you use these goals in measuring that performance and, what that might look like?
If your goal is to shoot par in 2 years, say that's the time frame that we've set, we talked about those different types of goals. So shooting that par, that's our outcome goal. That's where we want to get to. So now we got to break that down into our performance goals. So we'll look at how we're playing and kind of get a measure of our ability right now. And that kind of help us set smaller goals in the future to reach. So if I'm looking at my performance goals and tracking my fairways in regulation or my greens in regulation and seeing those numbers, I want to see a constant improvement of those numbers over that 2-year period and help in my performance. And once I've looked at that, then I'm going to look at some of the process goals that I've set. So this is the decisions that I'm making on the course. And if I'm working on my performance and fixing up my putting, maybe I have some short game issues I'm working on, then when I get on the course, I can put those performance goals into effect and what I've been working on and kind of set those process goals.
What you're saying is setting process goals, like we've identified our performance,
Mhm.
where we are right now, right?
Mhm.
And we know we're weak in putting, right? We know we're 3-putting every hole. That's where a lot of our strokes are going to come from. So in order to improve that performance, we need to set some process goals in order to get better, right? So if I were setting some process goals for putting, what would that look like?
Yeah, so process goals for putting would kind of look like, you know, breaking it down and focusing on specific skills and techniques. Say it's short putting that I'm working on. I'm going to do some drills to work and kind of hone in on my short putting. Say I put 5 balls around a hole and I've got to make all 5 in a row before I can move back. So then I progressively move back. So that's a drill that we can do to kind of work on that skill. And we do that over and over again over a course of time. And then when we get out on the course, we can see if those process goals, the work that we've put in while practicing carries over to the golf course.
Right, so as our performance improves, we're getting our performance goals, and they start to improve, then, you know, we are going to see, you know, a better outcome for our outcome goals, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Guys, so that's lesson number 19, and that's outcome goals, process goals, and performance goals. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.